Hello and welcome to ELFCO TV, and today we are going to make a double chocolate bundt cake featuring one of our favorite craft beers, which is Founders Porter. And we are also going to be going and visiting Founders sometime in the future, so we're very excited about that. So let me start off with how we're going to make the cake. This is my best friend Abby, and I'm Amy, and we are so excited to be here.
In my kitchen.
Oh yeah, in her kitchen. So here we are starting. We start off with 2 cups of flour. And then 2 cups of Guinness. And the fun part about this is that it does not have an overpowering beer flavor in the cake. It just gives it a light beer flavor. So even if you're not a huge fan of beer, you will still like this cake. So we're going to do 2 cups. And it's got this nice, beautiful foam head. Make a pocket. Yeah, no, it's about 1 cup. I think I will. And then Abby is going to take the spatula and just kind of mix this in gently. We don't need to mix it just yet. Okay. And really, any stout beer works. I just like the Founders because I like the flavor of that better, and it's a Michigan craft beer, so I kind of like supporting them when I'm baking.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Alright, now I'm adding 1/2 cup of oil. Okay, so now that we've got the flour, the baking soda, the vegetable oil, and the vanilla extract all mixed up, and doesn't that look like just such a lovely brown start and smell it? And that smells good. Delicious.
It smells really good.
I know, I wish we had smell-o-vision. That would just make the world so much better when you're baking. Okay, so now we're gonna wanna take the baking soda, the cocoa powder, the salt, and the sugars, and we're gonna wanna mix them together. So I'm gonna mix them together in this little bowl first.
So where did you first hear about this recipe?
You know, I got this off of it's a recipe book called Fat Girl Trapped in a Skinny Body, and that's where it originally came from. And I got it off of a blog post of hers that I read. So, and she does a little bit. She doesn't use a Michigan craft beer because obviously she's not from Michigan. She uses something else. So, I mean, I've modified it a little bit. But
as one does.
Yeah, as one does, and that's right, exactly. As you go along with more baking and you get more comfortable with the recipe too, you can change it, modify it. And the great thing too about like a lot of my cocoa powders and sugars I'll get from ELFCO in the bulk department. It's so much cheaper than getting it in the prepackaged containers. So you get a lot, you can do a lot more baking on a much smaller budget.
You bring your own containers?
I do tend to bring my own containers, yes. But you know what the great thing is if I forget or I pop in and I just want to grab something quick because I see it's on sale, they have plenty of bags and little plastic containers you can use.
Chocolatey and good.
I know, and this is Ghirardelli chocolate, which I think is some of the best chocolate you can use. I don't know, what do you, yeah. It's hands down better than anything you can ever find besides the Jagoba.
Sorry, it's not from Michigan, but
no, yeah.
When it comes to chocolate,
I didn't know you could even get that stuff in powdered form.
Yeah, yep. It's the ELFCO bulk brand. And they have chips as well. Now look how thick and creamy that is.
Yeah.
That is exactly what you want.
Awesome.
So,
Okay, so are we all
we
in?
are all in. So now we just need the pan.
Fabulous.
So Abby has taken a angel food cake pan and pre-greased it. And then we're going to take it and we are just going to scrape it down. I know, isn't that gorgeous?
Is there a reason to use a pan like this, or
You want the cylinder in the center because you want the air to flow up and around the cake so that it cooks. So the heat goes not only through it but around it as well with that hole in it. So that's why you use either a Bundt cake or like an angel food cake pan or so. Okay, so then we're gonna put this in the oven at 350 for an hour.
My oven runs a little bit hot, so I'm gonna set the timer.
For like 40 minutes. I usually always check it after half an hour, even if it says an hour, because depending upon the heat of the day, the heat of your kitchen, you know, the heat of your oven, which can change over time as well. You know, it's always a good plan to just check it often is how I look at it.
and how do you check it? Do you do the toothpick test, or?
Yes, you stick a knife or a fork or yeah, the toothpick down the center. And you can have a cake stick. Yeah. No. Yeah. You can do that. And that works really well. And then you also want to look at the color of it and, you know, the top of it. It needs to kind of,
Spongy.
it'll be spongy and soft to the touch. It'll pop back up when you touch it. We'll go over that though when we actually look at it.
We'll go over that in a later
Yeah,
lesson.
we'll go over that in a later lesson.
So of all the flavors that you could choose, why beer?
Why beer? Because I think it's fun to cook with. I think it's something different that not everybody is cooking with. And I like to try new baking recipes. And I've been getting more involved with the beer at ELFCO. So I'm just learning about it, learning what you can do with it other than just sit around and drink it. I mean, that's fun to do, but at the same time, it's fun to come up with different things to do. You know, so you're not only enjoying the way it tastes, but maybe you're enjoying it the way it tastes a different way, which is fun. You know, it's like when you pair different types of chocolate with different types of beer, and it brings out different flavors, and it adds flavors, and it, you know, it brings flavors to the surface you didn't realize were there before, because, you know, the cacao powder is bringing, you know, that chocolate powder, that chocolate flavoring from the beer as well, and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize it was that chocolatey. But now you realize it because you're pairing it with different things that are enhancing those flavors.
So, yeah, what you're using here is a stout, or I mean a porter.
Stout. I'm using a porter stout because it's darker and it's richer. It's really thick.
That pairs better?
It pairs better with this chocolate cake because the chocolate is heavy, and so the porter needs to be heavy enough to stand up against it. So it has to be thick. It couldn't like settle to the bottom. It couldn't, you know, it has to hold its own against that cocoa.
Sure.
So we've got one 12-ounce bottle of quarter pounder. We've got half a cup of milk, and we're going to mix that together. And look how lovely that bubbles. And that is going to come over in the taste in your cupcakes, because all that bubbly flavor is just going to bring even more flavor to the chocolate. Doesn't that smell good? You can smell that too. Okay, I did not measure out the vegetable oil because I figured it's easier to do it. So now we're gonna crack, individually we're gonna crack 3 eggs into this as she mixes. And we are using Grazing Field Farms, which is a local egg producer, because I like the fresher eggs. Okay. We're using
What do you like about their eggs?
I like the fact that they're farm fresh. They're not sitting in a truck as long as when you go to a bigger store, so they're just fresher from the chicken itself. And the coloring is so nice. When you crack it open, you get that golden yolk. And not only the golden yolk, but you get the white has a slight yellow to it. And according to shows that I have watched, that is supposed to be like the
mark
of an excellent egg.
That's cool.
And the flavoring of the egg. That's where you get a lot of that flavor is in that white part.
I never knew that.
Yeah. America's Test Kitchen. That is like the best show.
That's where we are right now.
So.
Okay, so are we done here?
Yep, we're done there. Okay. So, and then we have to mix in the sour cream. And this is 3/4 of a cup of sour cream, and this is from Calder Dairy, and they are also a local milk producer. And I just like trying to use local products when I can. And sometimes you can't. I mean, we just don't get it. But I figure if you can use local, why not?
Sure, with all the outsourcing, it's buy stuff locally, then money stays local.
Yep, exactly. So, but see all the bubbles that are forming with that? So all that fluffiness and lightness will come over in our cupcakes, and they'll be light and fluffy as well. So that's good. All right. And now what we're going to do is we are going to put the dry ingredients together. So we have 2 cups of flour, 2.5 cups of flour.
I'll be right back.
Okay. 2 cups of sugar. 3¼ cups of unsweetened cocoa. And then we just have our 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. And we're going to mix that together. And we're mixing them separately so that we know that the dry ingredients get mixed really well before they mix in with the wet ingredients. Okay, so then we are going to, she's going to mix in we are now going to check on the porter cake that we were making. So we're going to open it up. It's only been half an hour, so we're pretty sure it's not done. And you can tell by that jiggle in the center around the cone that it is definitely not done. And we knew that, but we just want to make sure that, you know, it doesn't get too dark. So we're going to set it for 10 minutes and check it again. I'm the type of person, I mean, I don't think you should open your oven door constantly because that interrupts the temperature, but at the same time, it's okay to check it more than once. It's better to check it a little bit often and get it when it's perfect than to wait and then have it be golden brown. Okay, 10 minutes worth of it. Now, see how this is all crackled and there's no jiggle when you shake it around the center? So we know that it's nice and cool. So what we are going to do is we are going to set it. So we're just going to set it on something that's heat resistant to let it cool. And we're just going to set it over here to the sides. We're not knocking it into the sink. I thought. So now we have here a rubber pan, and we're going to use a metal pan as well. So the metal pan will have to wipe it real quick with a little bit of oil.
What's the advantage to using a rubber pan?
You know, they seem to pop out really nice, and I'll use them for chocolate chip cookies because then they're uniform with the same size. So if I take them to like a sporting event or to, you know, a school event or something, everybody has the same size cookie. As you know from experience, sometimes it's very important, and so that's the other advantage to it. So. Okay, now see all these lovely bubbles that are in that? That is because of the beer. So let's, I'm just going to give it a nice mix stir since it's been sitting there. So we're going to, and now the secret to getting them over the top, they say you're only supposed to fill them 3/4 of the way full. But we want that lovely overstuffed, crisp kind of cupcake. So we're gonna fill them just a little bit too full. So, and that's how you get that. That's kind of a trick, a baking trick. So.
Once you get this one done, I'll pop it in.
Okay. And then Abby is gonna pop it in the oven, and we are gonna bake them at 350 degrees for about, 15 to 20 minutes. We'll probably check them after 10 just to make sure. And I usually try and turn them as well. just because, you know, unless you have an incredibly professional kitchen, and even then, sometimes the heat's a little different on one side than the other. And I think with something small like cupcakes, it makes a big difference. So, and now what we're doing here is we're making the frosting for both the cake and the cupcakes. And this is 2 ounces of the Dagoba bittersweet chocolate and then half a cup of butter. So, and you could use something else for the butter if you wanted to.
If you didn't want to take as long, you could shave the butter or crumble it or something, but we like to take our time.
And really this is where, with the frosting and with the chocolate cake, where it comes out that you use the higher quality chocolates, because the flavor is, the chocolate flavor is going to be pure, it's going to burst, it's going to just be a much cleaner flavor. Correct?
Yes. And also we should probably explain this double boiler system we have going, which is just a stainless steel pot with water in it.
Not touching the bottom of this bowl.
Not touching the bottom of the bowl.
That is very important.
And then the bowl on top.
And it has to be a complete seal around that bottom bowl as well, so that you don't have any. You want to keep all that hot water and that steam bubbling and boiling inside of there. So that's why you have to have a tight seal around, so that that's what melts your chocolate.
Why not just melt it in a pot?
If you put it right directly onto the pot, it heats it. First of all, too fast. It doesn't heat it evenly enough, because on a burner there is hot and cold spots, no matter how you go about it. And this is just, it's a better, cleaner way to do it, and it'll make that chocolate so much smoother, and it won't burn it. You're much less apt to burn the chocolate.
It smells really good.
It smells so delicious. This is where smell-o-vision would be good too.
Get your noses on, everybody. This smells awesome, and it's really pretty and shiny. It's the butter, it's the fat of the butter with the chocolate. Are we done with
I think straight out of Willy Wonka's river.
Oh, no, isn't it though? So now we've got the cocoa, and while it's still hot, what we want to do is we want to put the powdered sugar and the half a cup of cocoa powder in here. So, because this will help, the heat will help cook it, so that it melts down and just makes this lovely frosting.
I'm gonna need
Yeah, you're gonna need just
a bigger tool. Yeah.
So, and you're gonna also want to be aware with whatever spatula you use, because you want to use one that will not melt, because the chocolate will get pretty hot. And it can also melt whatever container you use.
Oh, this is my arm workout for the day.
Okay, and then we're going to add half a cup of the Founder's beer, and that will just help the flavor of the chocolate. And we've got all that bubbliness happening again. All those flavors just mixing in with the chocolate. This is going to just help make the chocolate cupcakes and cake just that much richer. This is just going to be... Do you want to mix for a minute?
No, I got it.
So, and then see how as it's cooling, it's getting just a little thicker, a little heartier. That's
It's
exactly
got
what we want.
some redness to it.
It does. That's the red from the chocolate beans it's going to be slightly red, and then the Founder's has kind of got a red flavor to it.
Huh.
So it's going to bring all that out. So.
Oh, this is pretty.
Isn't that though?
I love a nice glossy icing.
Yes. And this is such a simple one to make too, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, it's not that hard to do.
No.
So now we're just trimming around the edge so that when we slide it out, it just comes that, hopefully that much easier. Hopefully it comes in one piece. this has a bottom that pops off. You just kind of want to gently work this around. Pull it up. Slide it back this way and then we'll cut around it. And Abby is going to check on the cupcakes for us. So now we've got our beautiful cupcakes, and the great thing is about this is that we're going to serve them right on this tray. So we are just going to let this chocolate just pour all over them. We are just going to let them just be incredibly decadent. We are just going to let all that chocolate and then that beer just drip all over this and make it just absolutely gorgeous. And we don't care if it's on all of, you know, like if it's equal, because we can scoop up a little bit that's on the tray with a spoon, and that'll be just fine, because we're kind of serving this family style where, you know, we're just going to kind of sit and have a piece. So, and then here we have this chocolate cake, and we are just going to drizzle each piece with its own chocolate so that it sets a little nicer. Just like that. And then with our chocolate, we are going to just go over the top, and we are going to have Arbor Brewing Company. It's Arbor Brewing Company Mackinac Island Fudge, and this is a limited release. It's available at ELFCO. And we're fortunate enough that we get limited releases fairly often. So we're really good. Try a bite of the cake and tell us what you think of that. This is a porter cake with a chocolate frosting as well, chocolate sugar frosting.
Very good.
Alright, and then here's the cupcake. They're a different recipe, they're not the same as the frosting. So you ready? Let's grab them.
Yeah, sorry.
No, they're
Very
very soft.
gooey. Yeah, they're super soft. Yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I could eat this. I could eat this
You could eat
all
this.
day long. This is actually really good beer too. I normally don't like a stout, but
It goes well with the chocolate cake though, doesn't it?
it goes great with the chocolate cake.
Yeah. And that's that flavor combination. So there you go. This is how you make a porter chocolate cake and a porter cupcake using two different recipes, but using the same frosting. So that cuts a little time, and it's a lot of fun. Not only can you drink your beer, but you can eat it too. So have a great day. Does that work? Good.
That's fantastic.
Do you need to do it?
Love it.
Do you want another one? Another take, just in case.
You can if you want, but
Would you like to have backup?
you know what? That felt really good to me. That was
That felt
That was-
good to me too.
yeah, that was strong.
Okay. Okay. And Abby has pre-wiped down this
My hair.
yeah, don't say that.
Yep. Extra protein. Or wait.
Who gets
Would
the
that be
lucky hair?
Maybe just fiber.
There we go.
Don't let me do that. I'm sorry. My hand slipped.
Sure did. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. My finger here. Let's do this. Whoa, whoa.
Oh. There's a little bit more.
So, isn't that good though?
You know it was good when the frosting is all over.